Hey, this is the second letter from my dad. So I think this is written a little bit afterwards, but not too much after. He moved to Colombo, Sri Lanka. Okay? Some context. Not very helpful. Sorry. Alright, I'll get to it. Hello, my lovelies. Many thanks for your New Year's Eve letter. It sounds to me as though Dodoma hasn't changed much since I visited in 1985. Sorry to hear about your bout of flu. Obviously, your lifestyle is unhealthy. I would suggest that you cut down on exercise, eat fattier foods, take up smoking, and take a medicinal 1/4 bottle of scotch every day. That should keep the germs away. I had a letter from the Esperos and have extended the welcome mat. It'll provide them with quite a contrast to Shinyanga. Colombo is most distinctly first world in many ways. Life here continues to be pleasant and completely untrammeled by money worries or anything of that nature. Living is so cheap here that the basics take care of themselves. Food, booze, furniture, entertainment, service industries, etc. cost bugger all. My little garden, for example, it needs a good covering of topsoil and the sand shaping planting with exotic plants. The wall needs covering with some climbers. It needs landscaping, in other words. It'll probably all be done on 2 or 3,000 rupees, say 30 quid. That, incidentally, includes the spectacle of watching one's lawn being planted, grass sprig by hand. It'll probably take a week or so, but I'll have a fully matured flowering garden for my money. Imagine what such a thing would cost in Britain. I really like the school. I'm teaching IB French plus a class of non-GS... No, okay, I can do this. Come on, Jack. Non-GCSE grade 10 kids. Also various classes of computer studies. We have a lab filled with IBM, so I'm happily teaching DOS and Microsoft Basic to kids aged 11 to 17. It really is nice to be teaching something that's been such a hobby for me. The school is nicely set up. The two-thirds Sri Lankan staff is not the problem that one might think. An ancient culture like this produces some damned fine teachers, hard-working and dedicated. Sri Lankans tend to be much more cosmopolitan than most Asians and cope well with expat kids. Their salaries are good by local standards, but only a third or so of what the expat staff get. The school is well endowed money-wise, 7,000 for this year's luggages, textbooks, them and their accreditation a few years ago. Oh, I missed a line, sorry. Mind you, with great on the team, anything could have happened. Whatever, they're due for reinspection in March. Incidentally, talking of March, are you going to the Rome Administrators Conference, Mick? If so, I'll give Dermot Keegan a package for you. If you do go, do make a point of meeting him. He's a good bloke. No embarrassing stories, mind. My desk arrived the other day, my own custom design, paid for by the school, made by a local carpenter. Good craftsmanship, too. It seems they've never heard of chipboard here, thank God. Similarly, a bookcase cupboard unit I designed. Quality stuff which in the UK would cost hundreds of pounds to have made. You could do similar stuff in Tanzania, but the workmanship would be awful. Here, it's unbelievably good. I went to the local wood yard yesterday and ordered a cassette case I designed. Solid wooden shelves on a wood backing sufficient to take 450 cassettes. It'll take 3 days and cost 1,400 rupees. That's about 21 quid. Oh, I gotta turn the page. These take like way longer to read than I thought they would. Alright, here we go. You can live here very comfortably on, say, 3,000 rupees per week. Since my local salary is around 18,000 per month, it means that there's plenty to spare. That, of course, is apart from the 550 quid I'm sending to my account in Sevenoaks every month. It's okay. I decided not to buy a car. I was going to buy a Land Rover, but there was a problem about the car's legality, so I backed out. Bought a little motorbike instead. Brand new 100cc Yamaha. Cost in the UK around $800. Here, or 800 quid. Here, 450 quid. It's all I need to get me back around town and into school. I have this very yestereve joined the Colombo Swimming Club. Not, I hasten to point out, for the swimming. It's the old colonial club here. Very pleasant. Good bar, library, food facilities, etc. Not cheap. I shelled out 15,000 rupees to join. However, it is a very pleasant place to go, so there we are. Basically, it's a place to get pissed when one feels sociable. One has to, however, draw a line somewhere. It's extremely easy to get really legless in this climate. One tends to be thirsty, you see. Very cosmopolitan. I spent the evening in the company of an Irishman, a Swiss, an American, various people whose nationality I couldn't figure out, and a middle-aged couple from Wakefield. Peculiarly nice to hear E by gumming amongst such company. You will, no doubt, be aware, Mick, that what's-his-name, Wilkie, learned to swim in the club pool. Today, Friday, is yet another public holiday. 26 of them every year here. Apparently, Sri Lanka celebrates more public holidays than any other country in the world. Funnily enough, they always seem to fall on a Friday. Hence, an active day working on my house, fitting spotlights and such like. My freight eventually arrived, so I have my bits and pieces around me again. My house begins to feel like home. I've been very lucky with my maid. Here, domestic servitude is rather much an art form. Since the southern Tamils have been performing such functions for 1,000 years or so, they've obviously had some practice. Sundari is a lovely little creature, around 20-ish, I guess. Every week or two, her father comes to spot check the house to make sure she's keeping it properly. Every now and then, an aunt or a brother or a sister comes to teach her a new dish. She is incredibly intelligent when it comes to anything to do with the house. In my crate came all manner of electrical whizzers, French coffee makers, etc., etc. Sundari was making dishes with the whizzers and producing perfect coffee from the moment I put plugs on the things. I do, though, have one continuing argument with her, which will no doubt amuse you. She insists upon referring to me as the master, quotation marks, always in the third person and always with a capital M. Hence, after dinner, the master, he want coffee now. And the master, he going to bed now. The master, he going out. Now, this, even without its echoing more or less precisely the piss takes of friends in the graves, I would find irritating. When I asked her to call me Trevor instead of master, her response was one of effrontery. No, I no like Trevor. I call him master. Eventually, she agreed to sir, which is, in fact, even worse, since it reminds me of English schools. Unhappily, the term has now taken on the form of an addendum rather than a replacement. Hence, after dinner, the master, he want coffee now, sir? This whole business is driving me to distractions. Then, of course, there's the question of the teddy bear. Mara gave me this damned awful glossy Woolworth-style teddy bear, which found its way into my freight. No matter where I hide the damn thing, there it is every night when I go to bed, sitting on the head of the bed like a fetish. Sooner or later, there's bound to be some lovely, sophisticated piece of crumpet whom I've so charmed and inspired with one of my incomparable chat-up lines that she feels inclined to try out this sex machine of a body. A crummy teddy bear watching all is not going to further the cause. How do I explain all of that in Tamil? Tamil's the language they speak. Incidentally, I've signed up for another 2 years with this contract when this contract expires in the summer. They like me, it seems. I shall be back in sunny England and in July, sometime for a spot of leave. School ends on the 28th of June, and I have to be back here around the end of August. Let me know your plans, my dearies. I'll probably be taking off to France for a week or so mid-July. Maybe arranging a jite rural. Let me know if you have some time spare and fancy a few days sipping pastis somewhere. I also thought it would be a good idea to take on an IGCSE course at Cambridge. Better late than never. Of vital importance, though, is to book some time with you both in Leeds. I can't get over how money worries just dissipate into the blue beyond when getting a job abroad. By summer, I shall have 2 or 3,000 quid in my account again and have set myself up here. Motorbike, TV, video, all the bits and pieces a person needs or might want. What's more, I shall have thoroughly enjoyed doing it. I have a full booze cabinet, all manner of foodstuffs, Western and Oriental, in my pantry, good company, reliable and constant services. All that, Christ. 18 months in the UK and I was broke and bored. It really is a most inordinately expensive country. It is, as you no doubt will confirm, not often that I am lost for words. I was the other night. I took a taxi home from the club. It's in the center of town, about 3 miles or so away, and the taxi fare is only about 50 rupees. Anyway, the taxi driver who took me was even loopier than most drivers around here. He did the whole trip at about 90 miles per hour, straight through red traffic lights, wrong way down dual carriageways, etc. I died 1,000 deaths in that short trip. Anyway, when we got here, I had a bit of a chat with him, and as I was sifting through my pennies, he told me he was very religious. A good Christian, he said. He goes to church every Sunday. I made the vaguely impressed sounds one does in such circumstances. You see, he continued, in my job I have to. God looks after me. I drive very fast and will have no crashes as long as I keep praying. All good things. Trev. Cool. That's the second one. All right. Bye.